Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to episode 27 of Young Justice. Happy New Year. We begin this episode on the Watchtower on January 1st, New Year's Day. And essentially, it's a recap of the last scene of the previous episode, the season 1 finale. Several of the heroes, Young Justice team member and Justice League member alike, are trying to figure out a big mystery. During the time frame when the Light had the Justice League under their control through Starotech, 6 members, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, John Stewart, Hawkwoman, and Martian Manhunter were all missing for 16 full hours. So they're trying to figure out what did the Light have those particular members of the Justice League do during those 16 hours. Then we cut to a different scene, but there's no timestamp, not yet anyway. And we see Superboy is running in the sewers. He now has a long sleeve shirt and fingerless gloves. He's soon attacked by Clayface, who tries to suffocate him. But Miss Martian, she has her hood up, by the way, so we don't get a clear look at her face right now, but she arrives to help Superboy out. And she contacts a group she calls Delta Squad to come and help out. And soon enough, it looks like Robin is in the shadows right now. He throws some batarangs or birdarangs with electrical charges in them to attack Clayface, but unlike Downtime, Clayface is unaffected by the electricity, but it turns out this was just a trick. Superboy throws a pill in Clayface, which causes him to solidify from the inside out, and Robin steps out of the shadows, but it's not the Robin we're familiar with. It's Tim Drake, and he's the third Robin in the main DC comics. And we get to see the other members of this Delta Squad: Beast Boy, Bumblebee, and Blue Beetle. Miss Martian pulls her hood back, and she has a different haircut now, and she contacts the first Robin, who is now known as Nightwing, to let him know that they've succeeded in this mission. It's now when the timestamp is revealed. It's Gotham City, and it is New Year's Day, but it's 5 years later. So we now cut to Mount Justice, where we see Nightwing has defeated Lagoon Boy in a sparring match. Delta Squad returns to the cave through Zeta Beam technology, and we see that Superboy and Miss Martian have broken up sometime during the 5-year time skip. Miss Martian and Lagoon Boy are now a couple. Mal Duncan is also seen in the cave, and he's dating Bumblebee. He wants to have a date with her tonight, but Bumblebee says they'll have to reschedule for another time because she has a meeting with her mentor, Adam. And soon enough, Captain Atom, who is he's the current leader or chairman of the Justice League now, he contacts the cave to let them know that something is going on at the United Nations building. Mal tells Nightwing that Beta Squad is very close to the United Nations building, so they decide to send Beta Squad to deal with whatever it is that's going on there. So now we cut to New York, and in the United Nations building, we see that the chaos being caused there is by Lobo, the main man himself, as he calls himself. And Lobo, for some reason, he's trying to go after the Secretary General of the United Nations, Sane, who was a character that previously appeared in Targets. But Wonder Girl and Batgirl arrive to save Sane and to fight off Lobo. But despite their best efforts, Lobo manages to get to Sane, and he rips him apart, except it's not really Sane. It's actually a robot duplicate being piloted by a smaller alien. Lobo said that he was given a contract to put on a show for the locals, and he says the contract has now been fulfilled, so he leaves on his space motorcycle with the smaller alien. And then we cut to January 3rd now, and we see a character known as G. Gordon Godfrey, voiced by Tim Curry, is giving a little segment on TV where he's telling the audience that they need to be distrustful of aliens and that they should be distrustful of the Justice League because they have alien members. There's a quick scene at the Hall of Justice where Cad Grant is trying to get some questions answered by the two newest members of the Justice League, Zatanna and Rocket, but they have no comment, and Catherine Colbert, who is the public liaison of the Justice League, she's also the voice for the computer for the Justice League's Zeta Beam technology, tells Cad Grant that the Justice League will issue a comment in due time. But G. Gordon Godfrey uses this as more of a way to try to paint the Justice League in a bad light. So now we're on the Watchtower, and we see Nightwing, Superboy, Miss Martian, Zatanna, Rocket, Batman, Captain Atom, and Martian Manhunter are all listening to John Stewart, who is looking over the security footage from when Wonder Girl and Batgirl fought Lobo. And he recognizes Lobo, but he also recognizes the small alien as an alien species known as Krolataeans, who are apparently known to be thieves. And John Stewart also makes a point to mention that Krolataeans usually travel in groups, so not just individually. There's another person on the Watchtower too. His name is Adam Strange, and he apparently helps to maintain the Zeta Beam technology that they use. And something happened to Adam Strange recently. Martian Manhunter telepathically links everyone up to Adam Strange so that when he remembers the event, they'll have a visual aid to help them understand what he's trying to tell them. Some time ago, when he was working on the Zeta Beam technology, or he was trying to do maintenance work on it, he suddenly found himself transported to a different planet called Ran, and one of the scientists there named Sardath found him there. Sardath accidentally transported Alan to Ran because he was actually trying to figure something else out. Sardath found out that some Krolataeans have set up a base somewhere on Ran, and they were teleporting to different parts of Earth from there, and yeah, they had to figure out, they don't speak the same language, so it took them a few weeks to find some form of communication. But essentially, Alan found out that Sardath's technology was being stolen from the Krolataeans, and Sardath did manage to give Alan a device which would let them track where the Krolataeans are on Earth. Captain Atom wants to send some Justice League members with Atom to Ran in order to stop the Krolataeans there so that they won't keep coming to Earth. But Alan points out that while he was on Ran, he found out that there was apparently, it turns out the Justice League are wanted criminals, or at least 6 members of the Justice League are wanted criminals, and it's the 6 members who were missing for 16 hours. The heroes present realized that the light had sent them out somewhere into space, and the rest of the Justice League are on like on a warning watch, or like they managed to figure out who all the Justice League members are, and they have like a keep a lookout for them alert all over space or various planets. So they can't send the Justice League to Ran with Alan Strange. So Nightwing suggests sending members of the Young Justice team there instead, and they decide that is their best course of action for the time being. before they leave, Zatanna and Rocket telepathically talk to Nightwing, Superboy, and Miss Martian to let them know that they still have an open invitation to join the Justice League if they want to. And they do appreciate the offer, but they say that they're content being part of the Young Justice team still for the time being. So now we're at Mount Justice, and it's January 4th now. So the Young Justice team are also going to take care of all the different Krolletean bases throughout Earth. And they're going to find anyone who was abducted by the Krolleteans and to destroy those bases so they don't have to worry about the Krolleteans continuing to invade Earth. And they split up into different groups, but for the rest of the episode, we're going to focus on the Gamma Squad, which consists of Blue Beetle, Lagoon Boy, and Tim Drake, the current Robin. And Nightwing wanted to give Tim Drake a chance to stretch his legs as a team leader. And he makes sure to tell Robin to not take any unnecessary risks and to, well, stay alive. So all the groups split up to their respective places, and Gamma Squad goes to New Orleans. And Mal Duncan is staying in the cave. He's going to coordinate everyone from the cave. So, and he's in contact with all the teams so he can relay any information to the other teams or the Justice League. So Gamma Squad do find the Krolletean base is underwater, and they do find out, the base pretty easily. They do contact Mal. Mal sends an alert to send backup and tells them to stay low, but that won't be possible because the Krolleteans find them. So the Gamma Squad have to fight for a while, but the Krolleteans are notably afraid when they see Blue Beetle, and they actually try to escape from Earth, but they also set a self-destruction. Yeah, they plan to self-destruct their base as well. But Blue Beetle, throughout the episode, we hear him seemingly talking to himself, and apparently he can understand the Krolleteans' language, and he finds out that the abductees are somewhere in this base, so they have to rescue the captured people before the base self-destructs. They manage to capture one of the Krolleteans, and Blue Beetle is able to translate what he's saying so they can go where they need to go. They find the people that were captured, and Sane is one of them. They manage to rescue them, and it's a close call, but they do manage to escape the base, and they saved everyone. We then get a scene where the Justice League arrive, and it mirrors the scene when they arrived after Cadmus was destroyed at the end of Fireworks, and we have some members of the Young Justice team present as well. And Nightwing congratulates Gamma Squad on a job well done. But then we cut to the planet Ron, where Alan Strange has returned there with Superboy, Miss Martian, and Beast Boy, and that's where we end the episode. So there you go. We have the Season 2 premiere of Young Justice, which also has the subtitle Invasion, so Young Justice Invasion. And boy, did it start with quite the surprise. We got a 5-year time skip, and that caught a lot of people by surprise. And, well, that's always been a big point of contention, or a point of debate, I should say. Yeah, many fans have debated over whether the time skip was a good thing or a bad thing. Some people don't mind it. Some people liked it because it meant that we got to introduce characters that we wouldn't have been able to have during the time period that the first season took place in. But some people didn't like it because they liked how tight-knit or close-knit that the Young Justice team was before. So a lot of people debated about that. And me personally, I was actually okay with the time skip, but that's because as a fan of the Dragon Ball franchise, I'm used to big time skips between the big storylines. So it didn't really bother me too much, but I can understand why some people may have been bothered by it. And I do understand where some people are coming from because while the Young Justice team has expanded into a much there's a much greater number of members of the Young Justice team now. Although in universe they're still called just the team. I'm just calling them the Young Justice team from an out of universe context. I'm just saying that for simplicity's sake, just to keep everything straight with myself when I'm trying to recap and just to keep things clear for when I'm talking to anyone so they know which group I'm talking about. But I digress. So anyway, about the larger number of Young Justice team members, it does mean that some of them don't get as much attention or as much focus compared to others over the course of the season. And I do understand that because some of the characters introduced in this season that I really wanted to see more of in action, they kind of didn't get to play as big of a role in this particular season. Like, Beast Boy, Batgirl, and Wonder Girl were characters I really wanted to see more of, but they weren't necessarily... Like, they do get some spotlight episodes here or there. Like, Tim Drake got some focus in this episode, for example, but again, they're not necessarily... I guess you could say they're not central characters for the overall storyline of Season 2, and I do understand how frustrating that can be because I do wish that they would get some more attention. Like I said, Beast Boy, Batgirl, and Wonder Girl were the ones in particular that I really wanted to see more of. But the good news is, from what little information has been revealed about Season 3 so far, as of the recording of this video, it looks like Beast Boy and Wonder Girl and Tim Drake, at least, will be returning in Season 3. We know that, at least. So I'm hopeful that we'll get to see... I'm hopeful they'll get more focus put on them compared to what happened here in Season 2, but we'll just have to be patient and wait and see how things unfold. Otherwise, G. Gordon Godfrey was a really... he kind of is like those love-to-hate sort of characters. Like, he's obnoxious going against the Justice League, but he's really entertaining when he does it. And it's like, I think we have Tim Curry to thank for that. He gave such a great performance for the character. And I have to admit, this episode in particular was one that's really helped me to practice my Tim Curry impression. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And... otherwise, this sets up the big mystery about what happened during those 16 hours. We now know that the Justice League members were sent into space for some reason. And, I forgot to mention this in the recap and thoughts for the previous episode, but yes, it was confirmed that those 6 members were meant to be a reference to members of the Justice League in the DC animated universe. Although Hawkwoman was called Hawkgirl in the DC animated universe, and actually maybe they had a different name too, now that I think about it, actually. I'll have to recheck the civilian identity for Hawkwoman and Hawkgirl, but it was meant to be a reference to the DC animated universe, and the reason Flash wasn't included was because... the DC animated universe had Wally West as Flash, while Barry Allen is Flash in this show. Not to mention, Flash will be playing an important role in a later episode. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And as the ending of this episode indicates, Superboy, Miss Martian, and Beast Boy are going to be the focus of the next episode. So that's what you have to look forward to in the next episode. And they'll reveal more about some of the events that happened during that 5-year time skip. So there we go. Yeah, Season 2 of Young Justice started out really catching a lot of people by surprise when it first aired, and there's still some more surprises to come in the future. So, there you go. We've now discussed episode 27 of Young Justice on this channel. Take care, and until next time.